Sadaf, it's wonderful to see you. It's been 4 months since I left Houston, and you have brought with you all the memories of my
Oh, thank
time in
you.
Houston, the friends that I knew there, and some very good times that I had. So thank you. You have not just come yourself; you have brought a bag full of memories for me. It's great
No,
to
you're
see
so
you.
kind. Of course, we wanted you to know from Houston a message that you are an inspiration to all the women, all the Pakistani American women. I'm born and raised American, and I admired you and I looked up to you so much. You spoke so profoundly and so articulate, and with you just exuded respect. I love that about you.
Thank you. I'm very humbled. So I returned to Islamabad after 6 years. You're probably aware I was in Turkey for 3 years and then in Houston. And I'm very happy to be back. Let's begin with that. Not that I was not happy in Houston. I was very happy. I was very welcomed, very well received in Houston. I had a great learning experience. But Pakistan for me is like an ocean that embraces you. So it's good to be back home where you have your sense of belonging, your parents, friends that you've grown up with, colleagues that we have worked with all these years. So it's very nice to be back. Um, since it's still very early, so I've been settling in, putting my daughter to school, getting the home, getting my things back. It's a settling in period. So I'm currently Director General in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It's at that level, it's a senior position. We contribute towards policy making in Pakistan's overall foreign policy considerations.
Is
So
it more like foreign relations?
yes, my exact assignment is going to come soon.
Okay,
I'm
inshallah.
expecting that in the new year. Uh, we are uh, we are closing out a very interesting year, 2019. So I'm looking forward to some new things in the new year.
That's good. I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but if you were even aware that you were the first female consul general to ever enter Houston.
I'm very aware of it.
How was that for you?
I was made aware of it also.
Oh, you were. Oh.
um, I think it was, well, we have four consulates in the US, as you're aware. So the consulate in LA, Los Angeles, has had several women consuls general,
Okay.
but Houston never. So it was a first for Houston, and it was a first for not just our community, but also the wider American community to see a senior Pakistani woman diplomat. Uh, they thought that species did not exist, but I'm very glad to to tell them that we exist.
No, it was very nice to have you there to show the community of Houston that, Pakistanis are not sitting at home and making parathe or whatever they think, and they're out there, they're getting educated. And it's just so good to see someone who was so bold to fly from Pakistan and come and just start basically all over for 3 years.
Absolutely. You see, I think one of our biggest challenges as Pakistani diplomats, and irrespective of the gender, is that the perception of Pakistan, the culture of Pakistan, is very different from the reality of Pakistan today. And you are here in Islamabad. You would see that women are there in public sphere, in in almost every field and walk of life. But that reality is not taken into account abroad, and there is a stereotype that governs women in Pakistan and their
The
place.
submissiveness,
So,
yes.
and I hope that my 3 years in Houston helped to at least put a dent in that
Oh,
perception.
absolutely. I do believe
So
so.
I'm glad that that happened.
I read your book and very impressive. I know you're very, very motivated. I know you come from a very powerful family that encouraged you to be educated, which is basically unheard of in Pakistan. Even as a Pakistani, my dad was a surgeon and whatnot, but it wasn't very encouraged to have my own career. It's always like, you're dependent on a man. How did you feel your upbringing? Did that play any role in who you are today?
I come from a family of 6 girls, born to a very strong mother, and that gene was transferred into six very strong women. And then I think I have given birth to two very strong teenage girls as well. So yeah, it's almost hereditary now. But yes, I think my mother was a bit of a pioneer in her own setting. Um, she was probably one of the first girls who went to college in her time in Karachi, in the family. And she understood how important it was. And then when it was time for us, she took a stand to send us to the best schools and the best colleges in Karachi and gave us that foundation upon which that I and my sisters we stand. And times have changed, of course, and it is not a surprise anymore about women in Pakistan going to college, getting education, higher education, and working. But in my mother's time, it was an uphill task. So I'm very fortunate um, to have been born where I was.
What advice would you give somebody who wants to go into civil services?
Um, Let me share a little personal anecdote. When I took the civil service exam after my master's, my parents were not happy at all. In fact, I had to actually fight with them to be allowed to do this.
Oh.
And uh, I don't have a family background that comes from the foreign service or the civil service as such. So for them, and because I come from Karachi, and Karachi, there is, let's just say people in Karachi don't do civil service too much.
Yeah.
They're more into, in the corporate sector or business. So it was an alien concept, even for my parents. I mean, education is fine, getting a degree in international politics is fine, but joining the foreign service was a bit of a stretch for them. And I really stretched that.
I'm sure they're probably very nervous.
And I think this is where I'm a bit of a believer in fate, and so my parents. And once I took the exam, and I, against all odds, I did very well, and I was offered foreign service as my first choice. They just could not say no anymore. It was like a done deal.
Yeah.
And I always call it a divine intervention.
Absolutely, yes.
And they realized that this was something that was beyond their control. And then, I never looked back. And 25 years later,
wow,
my parents are very proud. And I'm very happy to have made them proud.
That's very touching, and that's very, very inspiring to know that parents can come around.
Oh, yes. They always do.
I think they just want you to do your best, and something that's like an alien concept to them, especially Pakistanis. They don't want you to deviate.
It's coming from fear.
Yes.
Their concern. It's coming from the environment. And it's coming from a place where they want to protect you as a woman, as a girl.
So can I ask you the typical question? Did you ever get the "lo kya kenge"?
All the time. All the time. But I think they've come to the point where they realize that I think we teach people how to treat us by our manner, by the way we conduct ourselves. Respect cannot be demanded. It is not an entitlement. You earn it.
Absolutely.
By your conduct, by your actions. So and all these years, and I've had a lot of public dealings in my career. As an ambassador, a former ambassador of mine once said that you're doing a man's job. And I believe that my parents have come to realize that there is respect for women in civil service. And this is something you asked about, what message would I want to give to those who want to emulate this, is that, it's a great place to be, to serve your country, to do something that is bigger than yourself. And I always say that foreign service is not a job, it's a cause, it's a national cause.
Very true.
And to be involved in something that serves your country, I can't think of anything bigger than that to do in life.
Very gratifying.
It's been hugely important.
That's amazing. I was going to ask you, what are your 3 favorite things to do in Islamabad? Say for someone who's coming to visit.
I'm a nature lover. So I deliberately moved to Islamabad from Karachi.
Okay.
I'm native of Karachi. And I don't think I can go back and live in Karachi anymore. I love Islamabad for the natural beauty that it offers. You know, the Margada Hills, the walks, the trails.
Absolutely.
It is a nature lover's paradise. So that is one thing that I would tell anybody. The next is we have a very interesting restaurant cafe scene in Islamabad now. And literally 2 minutes walk from my house is the main place where all the lovely upscale or very happy cafes are.
Nice.
It's called the Kosar Market, so you can actually walk down from here to
Oh,
there.
that's right. I've heard about Kosar
Yes.
Market. It's totally revamped.
So I think a lazy Sunday lunch at Kosar Market is the most favorite thing to do.
Really?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, I must do that while I'm here.
But you know, Islamabad's beauty lies in its natural beauty.
Natural beauty, yes. For sure, I agree with you. And I feel like lifestyle in Islamabad is so chill, so relaxed, and it's the closest to, I feel like, American life almost.
It's very nice.
Comparable.
It's comfortable, it's hospitable. And if you have good friends, then Islamabad is very close to other hill stations, whether it's Natyagiri or Aktabad or, you know, up north.
Absolutely, yes. To wake up to this.
Yes.
This is really nice. And what message do you have for everybody?
For my friends and all the people in Houston, a very big Assalamu alaikum. I remember everyone very fondly. Please convey my love and regards to the whole community over there. I keep hearing good things coming out of Houston. I'm very happy that they are as dynamic and engaged as they had been when I was there. And I look forward to hearing more good news coming from there. I also want to take this opportunity to wish you a lot of success on the new venture that you have personally embarked upon. Your blog and your website, and I hope it takes you to some interesting places to have interviews with far more interesting people.
Oh no, this is the best it gets, right?
And I hope to see it grow from strength to strength.
Well, thank you. That really means a lot to me. And like I said, you're one of the sources of my inspiration. I admire you and your strength, your bravery. And I hope you do come back to Houston, just visit us and just hang out. And we will take you out to all the fabulous places that maybe you didn't have the opportunity to see.